Hi, Sam Ora is my name. I'm trying to tell you something today about the story of the Tower of Babel. If you don't go to church or you have never read the Bible, you probably be wondering what is the Tower of Babel. But if you have been to church before or you have heard some great preachers talk about the Tower of Babel, you probably would know that that story is found in the book of Genesis 11. But more than what you read literally in that story, I wanted to know that that story typifies the exact meaning of legalism. Legalism is an attempt to do what is right using your own energy. If you read this vision statement of the builders of the Tower of Babel, they were asking themselves, they were questioning themselves, they were reasoning within themselves, they were embarking within themselves on a journey that looked right on the surface, but the methodology and the motive was wrong. They were going to build a tower whose top would reach into heaven so that, listen to this, they could make a name for themselves. But you see, desiring a good name, desiring a name that is influential and global in itself is not a wrong desire, but the motive and the methodology could be self-centered. And what happens was that God came down and scattered them. And that generation of the builders of the Tower of Babel finally produced Seth, who, when you go down and you fast forward, produced, the father of Abraham, and Abraham was eventually born. So that explains the reason why the Almighty God had to call Abraham, who was Abram then, in Genesis 12, verse 1. And he told him what he was going to do with his life from verse 1 to 3. And the paraphrase is this, that if you are going to just follow me, Abraham, I'm going to make your name great. And I'm going to bless anyone that blesses you, and I'm going to curse anyone that curses you. And in you shall all the families of the earth be blessed. Now, the key point there, and the key phrase there is that God said, I am going to make you. I'm going to make your name great. So you see, when you look at what the builders of the Tower of Babel were trying to achieve, they were trying to build a name for themselves. That was exactly what God was going to do for Abraham. But God seemed to be saying, Abraham, let me be the one that will do this for you. So why did he call him out of his territory, out of his familiar environment? It was because, you see, all of us are products of our environment. If I have seen my great-grandfather do something in a particular way, guess what? I would do it the way my great-grandfather did it, the way my grandfather did it, and the way my father did it. So Abraham must have been told the story of how in that family, everybody would get things done in their own way, cutting throats and cutting corners and trying to exert energy and use their intelligence, use their connections and all of that within themselves are not really bad, except that people get tired and get frustrated along the line without the grace of God. So God said, you know what, Abraham, I want to call you out of that environment and repackage you and make sure that you go through a transformation of your mind and come to this side where I've always wanted to bless people by my grace alone. And that was exactly what God did. In fact, that reminds me of what I told you last week when Jesus went to the lake and he saw Peter and Andrew and he said, follow me and I will make you. He must have learned that from his father because he said in John chapter 5, verse 19, he said, whatever I see my father doing is what I do also. So God is in the business of making people today. So if you're going to allow yourself to be made by God, I'm telling you, it's a better way of life instead of relying on your own energy. If you want to know more about how God called Abraham and from that generation of self-made paradigm, you need to go onto my website today and log on to Somebody Ministry website and read the blog post for this week, The Grace Made Generation. And please don't forget to share the message, share the link, and recommend to other people, and don't forget to put your comments in the comment section, and I want to hear from you. And also, you can download my free book, on the website. The title is the Party Happy God. And it's blessing people all over the world. I'd love to hear from you. Remember that God is not angry at you today, and it's not going to be angry at you forever. I love you so much. Let God make you. Love you.